No one in the towering glass fortress of Ashford Heights had ever managed to last more than 7 days with Valerie Ashford, the billionaire's notorious 8-year-old daughter. 7 days was the record, held by a nanny who had once worked with children on television shows known for tantrums and chaos. Even she fled in tears after Valerie locked herself in the panic room, sounded the silent alarm, and blamed the nanny for trying to kidnap her. Tutors had run, therapists had quit mid-session, and personal aides had pretended to faint just to be relieved from duty. Valerie wasn't rude or cruel in the typical spoiled child way. She was a storm, unpredictable, overwhelming, and impossible to contain. Some said she was wild. Others whispered she was broken. No one ever wondered if she was simply hurting. That night, the penthouse floor was quiet, unusually so. Security guards traded uneasy glances. The lights in the grand corridor flickered as a storm raged outside, lightning crackling against the glass. And then the elevator dinged, opening to reveal Ethan Reyes, a 32-year-old single dad janitor carrying a mop, a bucket, and exhaustion deeper than the night itself. He had only been on the job for 2 weeks, and he wasn't supposed to clean this floor, ever. But a pipe had burst 2 levels below, and he was told to wait upstairs until maintenance cleared the flooding. He wasn't supposed to wander. He wasn't supposed to be curious. Yet the moment he stepped out and heard a muffled sob echoing through the polished hall, he stopped so abruptly his mop clattered against the tile. A child's cry, small, sharp, panicked. He knew that sound. He had heard it from his own daughter, Bella, after nightmares. He shouldn't get involved. A billionaire's floor was not his battlefield. But fatherly instinct didn't care about class or pay grades. It cared about a hurting child. He moved toward the sound, passing expensive sculptures and walls lined with digital artwork that shifted every minute. The crying grew louder, more desperate. He found it coming from an office door slightly cracked open. Ethan pushed it gently. Inside, a golden desk lamp flickered over a room filled with scattered papers, broken crayons, and a tablet glowing with a paused video, some kind of message. Under the massive desk, curled into a trembling ball, was Valerie Ashford. The tantrum-throwing terror of the tower. Except she didn't look like a monster. She looked like a lonely child losing her breath in fear. Ethan knelt, not too close. "Valerie," he asked softly. She jerked up, eyes wide and wild. "Go away." The shriek ripped out of her throat, but it wasn't hateful, it was terrified. Ethan stayed still. "I heard crying," he said gently. "That's all." Her lip quivered. Her hands shook so violently she dropped her tablet, and the screen flashed with a frame of a video, her father's face, distant and annoyed. "Everyone says I'm a monster," she rasped. "Everyone leaves me." Ethan exhaled slowly. "Monsters don't cry like this," he said. "And they don't hide when they're scared." She blinked hard, tears falling again. "Why are you here? You're not supposed to be on this floor." "Probably not," Ethan admitted with a small, warm half-smile. "But tonight I'm just someone who heard a kid crying and didn't want her to be alone." Valerie stared at him like she didn't understand the words. Like she'd never heard them spoken without frustration or fear. "I'm not used to people talking to me like that," she whispered. "Like what?" "Like I'm not a problem." Ethan sat cross-legged on the floor, at her level. "You're not a problem. You're just a kid who's having a really rough night." She hesitated, then uncurled slightly, scooting out from under the desk as if she didn't quite believe she was safe to do so. She sat beside him, close enough he could feel her trembling. "My dad left again," she whispered. "He sent a video to tell me he'd be gone for a week. He said it like I should be used to it. Like it doesn't matter." Ethan nodded slowly. "Does it matter to you?" "Yes," she said in a tiny voice. "Then it matters." She sucked in a shaky breath. "Everyone keeps saying I'm impossible. That I'm difficult. Maybe that's why he doesn't want to be here." Ethan's heart clenched. "Valerie, people only say things like that when they don't understand what you need. And sometimes grown-ups don't know how to handle big feelings." She lifted her head. "Do you?" Ethan chuckled softly. "I've had some practice. My daughter used to get upset a lot after her mom died. Not angry. Just overwhelmed." Valerie's eyes softened. "I get overwhelmed. I know, he said. And that's okay. For the first time, she didn't scream. She didn't push him away. She leaned gently, hesitantly, against his arm. A security camera clicked quietly above them. Someone was watching. Someone who would send the footage through the building within the hour. And by sunrise, everyone would know the impossible truth. The billionaire's impossible daughter had allowed a janitor to comfort her. Part 2. By morning, the building buzzed like a shaken beehive. Executives whispered. Assistants gasped. Security guards exchanged stories like campfire legends. The girl hugged him. Hugged. The Valerie Ashford. Ethan arrived for his next shift expecting disciplinary action, maybe even termination. Billionaires didn't like their children interacting with the help. But when he reached the staff lounge, heads swiveled toward him like he was a celebrity walking the red carpet. You survived, one guard muttered. More than survived, said another. She asked for you. Ethan froze. What? She asked for you by name, the guard clarified. All morning, non-stop. Screamed at 3 nannies and kicked a therapist out of the house when they wouldn't bring you. Ethan stared, unsure how life had taken such a bizarre turn. But the real shock came an hour later when Alexander Ashford himself stormed into the building, coat still on, rage in his eyes. His private jet had landed early after he saw security footage of a janitor sitting with his daughter like they were old friends. Billionaires didn't handle surprises well. Where is he? Alexander barked. Where is the janitor who thinks he can insert himself into my family? Staff scattered. No one wanted to get caught in the crossfire of billionaire fury. But as Alexander marched toward the elevator, the doors opened, and Valerie ran out, straight toward Ethan. She grabbed his shirt with both hands. Don't fire him. Alexander stopped dead. Valerie's voice wasn't angry. It was pleading, desperate, terrified. Sweetheart, Alexander began stiffly. He listens to me, she snapped. He doesn't yell or run or pretend to care. He stayed with me when I was scared. Ethan had never seen a billionaire look more stunned. Alexander's jaw tightened. You scared the staff last night. I was scared, she shot back. Why weren't you there? Silence dropped like a stone. Ethan stepped between them before she spiraled. Please don't blame her for being honest, he said quietly. She needed someone to show up. Alexander whipped around. You are a janitor. You do not get to lecture me on parenting. No, Ethan said steadily. But I know what it looks like when a kid is drowning in feelings and everyone around her is too afraid to help. Valerie gripped Ethan's sleeve tighter. Alexander's composure cracked. You have a daughter. Bella, Ethan said. She's 9. Valerie's eyes brightened for the first time that morning. Can I meet her? Ethan hesitated, but Alexander surprised him. Please, he said. The billionaire who commanded empires said please. So Bella came, and everything changed. Bella was gentle where Valerie was intense. Patient where Valerie was chaotic. She didn't flinch at Valerie's loud moments or her rapid swings of emotion. Instead, she laughed with her, calmed her, held her hand. And Valerie softened. She learned to breathe through meltdowns. She apologized when she hurt feelings. She painted with Bella for hours, colors blending across canvases like the emotions she never had words for. Alexander watched this transformation with awe and regret. He saw how Ethan handled Valerie's breakdowns with calm guidance instead of punishment. How Bella's quiet presence grounded the girl who once terrified full-grown adults. One evening, as Ethan coached Valerie through another wave of frustration, slow breathing, grounding, naming feelings, Alexander approached him quietly. How do you do it? Ethan took a slow breath. Because someone helped my daughter after her mother died. Someone taught me that kids don't act out because they're bad. They act out because they're overwhelmed. They don't need perfect parents. They need consistent ones. Alexander swallowed hard. Would you stay? Not as a janitor. As something more for Valerie. Ethan shook his head gently. I'm not here for titles. She trusts me. That's enough. Alexander nodded slowly, humbled in a way he wasn't used to. Months passed, and Valerie flourished. She became kinder, more confident, more expressive. Staff no longer ran at the sound of her footsteps. They smiled. She laughed. Loud, joyful, real. And then one afternoon, standing in the massive sunlit living room, Valerie tugged her father's hand and whispered, "Dad, can Ethan and Bella be part of our family?" "For real?" Ethan froze. Bella stared. Alexander blinked, as stunned as everyone else. "Family," he repeated. "Yes," Valerie said. "I love them. They make me feel safe. They make this place feel like home." Tears threatened in Alexander's eyes, something no boardroom, no investor, no empire had ever drawn from him. He looked at Ethan, then at Bella, then back at his daughter, who was finally smiling without fear. "If they'll have us," he whispered. Valerie squealed. Bella hugged Ethan's waist, and for the first time since Ethan lost his wife, for the first time since Valerie's world fell apart, something broken became whole again. A janitor had done the impossible. He didn't just help a child. He healed a family. A billionaire's empire had been built on money, but its salvation came from a single dad with a mop, a wounded heart, and a love that asked for nothing in return.